Afternoon, everybody. Me again, Shannon Fox here, the Road to Patriots 2 channel. I've got a pretty long clip here for you, but it is one of the best videos I think I have seen in a very, very long time. Very informative, explains a lot about you said, well put together, and I want to give all props to the guy that made it. I hope I don't get a copyright issue behind it. I did find it over on X, but I may stop it a couple times in between, maybe see if that helps with the copyright issue. Do have another uh, Big Balls ACDC song at the very end. I know it's a copyright issue, but I'll at least show you where it's at and give you a crumb bit in case you want to come over to Twitter and find it. It's on my Twitter post over here on my site. Really good put together about what's going on with Doge in our country. Very entertaining as well. But first, let's go ahead and get into the meme of the day. Give me a like if you like the meme. Get it started, and we'll go straight into this video. It is an amazing amount of information about what the Doge team is actually doing to help our country. They're not just coming in and seeing who's doing what's wrong. They're coming in with algorithms. They're changing the system. They're uh, absorbing all the information that's in the system. The algorithm is pointing out the waste, fraud, and abuse, and so many things that you cannot imagine are being connected as to money trails and paper trails because they have tools that they have built with coding to come in and root out the rot in each and every agency. And there's 400 plus agencies, almost 500 agencies, and every single one of these agencies are going to have the Doge boys show up with their skateboards and their backpack, show up in there. I don't know if it's 4 deep, 5 deep, or 100 deep. I know they're in Washington in a warehouse, crunching numbers, 24/7, 120 hours a week uh, for each person per shift, with several shifts going. It's a nonstop plan. They got 2 years to get this done. That's the deadline of this thing, and they believe they're going to be able to do it. They think they're going to be able to claw back trillions, not billions, trillions of dollars. And these guys are like a dog hunting a bone or a duck on a June bug when it comes to finding the stuff. They're enjoying hunting this stuff out and finding it. There's probably a competition at this point as to which one of them can find the most waste the quickest. I would almost bet they've got an ongoing bet or a race going because I know a lot of people on Twitter are talking about that. Which one of them's doing the most work? Who's getting exposed the most? Really doesn't matter. Truth be known, we got it coming out the ears. All the details about you said. Some of the NGO information start to come forth. We're getting names about people involved. The Nancy Pelosi's and the screaming Democrats that all took the money, and some Republicans as well. We're fixing to find out, folks. So this you said corruption story was the worst government corruption story in world history. Wrong. It's the it's the worst government corruption story so far, and I believe that's true. Maybe you said is the big fish when it comes to the devil's purse, as it's been called. But we are just scratching the surface. And when they look into Department of Homeland Security, what they done with the money that didn't belong to them from other agencies, how they allocated stuff around. I wonder if we're going to find out the actual dollar amount of how many trillions, if not hundreds of billions, were spent on facilitating illegals into this country with money that wasn't allocated for that particular purpose. We know what happened. We're going to find out when they look into DHS. It's going to be like looking at you said. It's going to be not a apple with a worm in it. It's going to be another bowl of worms. I guarantee you, folks. We're going to have 4 years of exposing corruption and fixing things. And this video explains how all this is happening in real time. It's not just the Doge team. Trump has been plotting and planning for years with 1,000 people as to how we're going to fix things. Plotting and planning as to how we're going to fix things. And this video here shows you what I'm talking about. So stick around. It's long, but man, it's a good one. Here we go. All credit goes to Matt Baker. It's at Slave to Liberty here on X. It says, let me tell you a story about Doge. Override inside the revolution, rewiring American power, adapting from the article written by Echo Loves You at Substack, at Echo Loves You Substack. if you're interested in the person that actually wrote the narrative for this. And truth be known, he made a video. This Mr. Baker, Matt Baker, made a video out of the other guy's narrative. So props off to both of them. Not trying to steal anybody's work, but I just really wanted to share this. This is awesome. Here we go, folks.
2025. In Treasury's basement, fluorescent lights hummed above 4 young coders. Their screens cast blue light across government-issued desks, illuminating energy drink cans and agency badges. As their algorithms crawled through decades of payment data, one number kept growing: $17 billion in redundant programs. And counting. Edward Corristein's code had already mapped 3 subsystems. Luke Ferreter's algorithms were tracing payment flows across agencies. Ethan Chautran's analysis revealed patterns that career officials didn't even know existed. By dawn, they would understand more about Treasury's operations than people who had worked there for decades. This wasn't a hack. This wasn't a breach. This was authorized disruption. While career bureaucrats prepared orientation packets and welcome memos, Doge's team was already deep inside the payment systems. No committees, no approvals, no red tape. Just 4 coders with unprecedented access and algorithms ready to run.
The beautiful thing about payment systems is that they don't lie. You can spin policy all day long, but money leaves a trail.
That trail led to staggering discoveries. Programs marked as independent revealed coordinated funding streams. Grants labeled as humanitarian aid showed curious detours through complex networks. Black budgets once shrouded in secrecy began to unravel under algorithmic scrutiny. By 6 a.m., Treasury's career officials began arriving for work. They found systems they thought impenetrable already mapped, networks they believed hidden already exposed, power structures built over decades revealed in hours. Their traditional defenses, slow-walking decisions, leaking damaging stories, stonewalling requests, proved useless against an opponent moving faster than their systems could react. By the time they drafted their first memo objecting to this breach, 3 more systems had already been mapped.
Pull this thread and the whole sweater unravels.
He wasn't wrong, but he misunderstood something crucial. That was exactly the point. This wasn't just another transition. This wasn't just another reform effort. This was the start of something unprecedented. A revolution powered by preparation, presidential will, and technological precision. The storm had arrived, and Treasury was just the beginning. For decades, this principle, articulated by conservative strategist Troop Hemingway, remained more theory than practice. Previous administrations spent months, even years, trying to staff key positions. Trump's first term saw barely 100 political appointees confirmed by February 2017. Every delay meant another victory for the permanent bureaucracy. But this time was different. While media focused on campaign rallies and political theater, a quiet army was being assembled. In offices across D.C., veteran strategists mapped the administrative state's pressure points. Think tanks developed action plans for every agency. Policy institutes trained rapid deployment teams. Former appointees shared battlefield intelligence from previous administrations' failures. By Inauguration Day, over 1,000 pre-vetted personnel stood ready, each armed with clear objectives, mapped legal authorities, and direct lines to support networks. This wasn't just staffing, it was a battle plan decades in the making.
This is the new normal. He's having the time of his life. We've done more in 2 weeks than others did in years.
The secret wasn't just speed, it was precision. Instead of waiting for Senate confirmations, the transition team prioritized non-Senate confirmed positions. While Democrats prepared for traditional confirmation battles over cabinet posts, an army of aligned personnel was already moving into place. Strategic positions were identified. Legal authorities were mapped. Support networks were established.
We don't have a lot of time. 4 years is a lot of time in political life, but it's not a long time in real life.
This urgency drove innovation. When Doge's young coders breached Treasury's payment systems, pre-positioned legal teams neutralized resistance within hours.
It's fixing to get good right here. They're fixing to start breaking down how these coders actually did the investigative homework with the tools that they have built in advance. They knew exactly what to do when they got there. That's why it's only taking a day or two to go through each one of these agencies. They're coming in, they're kicking the people out. They're taking over the computers. They're probably putting their flash drives in the size of the computer, downloading all the information on into another computer, something or another drive, and then go and decoding it all with their AI system, AI algorithm, and the things they're looking for are red flagging left and right. So it's making it easy. Everything they tried to hide, it's not hiding anymore. And I love it. I love it. This is actually a great story because it's absolutely true. This is a play by play of what is happening in the world for the next 4 years. If Doge and Trump has anything to say about it, our government will be a different place when this gets done because just the start they've had already, we have not only kicked thousands of people out of our country, we have had thousands and thousands of people resign and several thousand people kicked out of government already, and they are just getting started to clawing back the money. This is awesome, folks. We're living in a special moment in time in American history to see what Trump is going to do. I predict he is going to bring world peace through bureaucracy, through diplomacy with his business sense. I think he's going to broker a deal. Trump's going to broker a deal with enough countries around the world that nobody's going to want to fight with anybody else because they're making money with America and their neighbors. Just like Trump brokered peace in the Middle East on his first go around, he's going to be able to do that with a lot of warring nations behind the fact that if you can work together and make money, who cares if you hate each other? That's what we're going to get to. I think Trump, go ahead and say it now, may be the first president not to only not start a war, but to broker world peace during his presidency. Let me know what you think in the comment section down below. Let's get back to this crazy documentary. That's what I'm going to call it at this point.
When career officials tried revoking system access, they discovered Doge's authority came from levels they couldn't challenge. When leaks surfaced, rapid response units fed counter-narratives to alternative media almost instantly.
When you look at the people surrounding the president, we're trying to make it sort of easy for him to do what he wants to do in government. When you have the entire team firing on all cylinders, you can get a lot done.
The permanent bureaucracy never saw it coming. They were prepared for resistance. They were ready for protests. They had plans for leaks and legal challenges, but they had no defense against an opponent who had spent years preparing for this moment. This wasn't just about filling seats. It was about building a machine designed to transform American governance. Every position mattered. Every appointment carried weight. And behind it all stood a president counting down not years or months, but weeks and days, driving his team forward with relentless energy. The foundation was set, and the revolution was just beginning. USAID fell next. No midnight raids this time. No secret algorithms, just a simple memo on agency letterhead. Pursuant to executive authority. Career officials panicked, and for good reason. Created by executive order in 1961, USAID could be dissolved with a single presidential signature. No congressional approval needed. No court challenges possible. Just one pen stroke, and 6 decades of carefully constructed financial networks would face sunlight.
Pull this thread, and a lot of sweaters start unraveling.
The resistance was immediate and telling. Career officials who had barely blinked at Treasury's exposure now worked through weekends to block Doge's access. Democratic senators who had ignored other moves suddenly demanded emergency hearings. Former USAID officials flooded media outlets with warnings about institutional knowledge loss and diplomatic catastrophe. But their traditional defenses crumbled against Doge's new playbook. While bureaucrats drafted memos about proper procedures, the young coders were already mapping payment flows. While senators scheduled hearings, pre-positioned personnel were implementing new transparency protocols. While media allies prepared hit pieces, Doge's algorithms exposed decades of questionable transactions. The scale was breathtaking. EPA climate initiatives, not just mapped, found unauthorized programs in 47 states.
Damn.
Education's DEI maze, not just exposed, revealed coordination across 1,200 programs. Intelligence
Damn.
community black budgets? Not just traced. Uncovered patterns hidden for 30 years.
30 years. Are you hearing these numbers? This is going to be deep and wide. This is fixing to explain a lot about why our country makes plenty of money and can't pay their bills. This here is a big part of the problem right here.
The administrative state runs on two things: control of information and money flows. We're not just exposing their networks, we're rewriting their DNA.
The cracks began showing in unexpected places. A career EPA director, tears streaming. Everything we built. A USAID veteran, hands shaking, they're inside all of it. A Treasury lifer, closing his office. They move faster than we can think. Across Washington, officials who had weathered every reform since Reagan began quietly updating LinkedIn profiles. A deputy director, open to opportunities. An agency chief, exploring new challenges. A bureau head, time for change. Doge's algorithms weren't just programs, they were archaeology tools, excavating decades of buried networks. Each data point connected to another. Each discovery revealed new targets. Each pattern exposed larger systems.
It's beautiful, like watching a galaxy map itself.
For the permanent bureaucracy, this wasn't just change. It was an extinction-level event. Their power
Yes.
came from controlling who got paid, when they got paid, and what they got paid for. Now those controls were evaporating like dawn burning away darkness. The pattern was devastating in its simplicity. Map the money flows, deploy aligned personnel, expose the networks, restructure the systems. By the time bureaucrats drafted objections to one breach, 3 more had already occurred. The revolution wasn't just spreading, it was accelerating. The first bulldozer arrived in Springfield, Ohio, at 6 a.m. on a Tuesday. By noon, 3 blocks of notorious potholes were filled. Local news crews arrived to find not just construction crews, but data analysts with laptops, mapping every dollar spent against real-time progress. This wasn't just road repair. This was revolution in action. The woman grabbed the analyst's arm, tears in her eyes. 12 years. 12 years I've been calling about these potholes. He turned his laptop, showing real-time data flows. Analyst. Look, your tax dollars. Actually working. She stared at the screen. My God, it's really happening. Across America, funds once lost in administrative mazes, such
She's talking about nationwide improvements, talking about money that was supposed to get to the little people for these projects to build houses to help with the poor, these real charitable um, government funded projects that actually supposed to help people, especially the poor and underprivileged people. The money doesn't actually make it down to the bottom because the bureaucracy seems to get in the way, slow things down, and regulate and hold on to the money until they get to keep it. And they are figuring all of these little loopholes that they use to rip the American people off, what the actual taxpayers paid for, what they voted in to be done that doesn't actually happen. That is fixing to be over. They are going to make this government so efficient that waste, fraud, and abuse will not be possible with this new computer system they bring in. They're not just coming in and figuring out what's wrong and fixing it. They're going to put in a system to where you can't do it that way anymore. The new systems will be set up to where you can't waste, fraud, and abuse from that point forward. You'll see, folks. I watched a video about that yesterday.
suddenly found their way to actual problems needing solutions. In rural Tennessee, broadband expansion projects long buried under bureaucratic red tape broke ground overnight. In Michigan, water treatment plants received upgrades that bureaucrats had studied for decades but never approved.
A lot of this is money that Biden spent that he didn't actually use the money.
The transformation was measurable. In just 2 weeks, tens of thousands of redundant programs identified, billions in waste exposed, hundreds of unauthorized initiatives halted, countless local projects unleashed. But the real metric? Trust in government rising for the first time in 50 years. The revolution spread with surgical precision. Real-time tracking replaced quarterly reports. Algorithmic oversight replaced review boards. Local solutions replaced federal mandates. Results replaced process. Vance. He's done more in 2 weeks than Biden did in 4 years and Obama did in 8. But this isn't just about speed. This isn't just about tech. This isn't just about personnel. It's all three, perfectly aligned. For ordinary Americans, the impact was undeniable. Roads repaired, schools revitalized, water purified. But more importantly, something else was being restored: trust. For the first time in generations, people saw their government not as an obstacle, but as a tool for positive change. The sun rises early in Washington. On this morning, its first rays caught the classical columns of the Treasury building, casting long shadows across streets still quiet. But inside, beneath the marble and granite, screens still glowed blue. Doge's algorithms never sleep. The administrative
I
state was
like it.
built over decades, built to resist change, built to outlast presidents, built to preserve power. He paused, tracking a particularly interesting data flow. But they never imagined this. They built walls against political attacks, defenses against media exposure, shields against congressional oversight. They never prepared for algorithms that could map everything, for personnel pre-positioned everywhere, for a president who counts every week like it's his last. The numbers tell the story. In Treasury, networks mapped, waste exposed, systems rewired. At USAID, decades of hidden flows revealed, power structures dismantled. Across agencies, redundancies eliminated, authorities realigned, missions refocused. But numbers aren't the whole story. Imagine changes coming to a community near you. Springfield, Ohio. Potholes that plagued residents for 12 years actually disappeared overnight. Rural Tennessee, where children can finally connect to high-speed internet their parents were promised decades ago. In Michigan, people truly drink clean water while bureaucrats' memos about studying the problem gather dust. This isn't just reform, this isn't just change. This is American governance reimagined. The pace is going to be the same. It's just the priorities that are going to change. The permanent bureaucracy built their administrative state over decades, brick by bureaucratic brick. They thought it would last forever. They thought it was too big to map, too complex to understand, too entrenched to change. They were wrong. 4 young coders with laptops proved that. 1,000 pre-positioned personnel proved that. A president counting weeks proved that. The sun continues rising over Washington. Classical columns still cast their shadows. But inside those buildings, everything has changed. The administrative state finally met its match preparation plus presidential will plus technological precision. This isn't the end of the story. This is just the beginning. The revolution isn't just continuing. It's becoming the new normal. And for those who thought the deep state would rule forever, they're about to learn what happens when smart strategic minds meet determination, when preparation meets opportunity, when a new generation decides it's time for change. The storm isn't just gathering, it's here to stay. The sun continues rising over Washington. But now, for the first time in generations, it illuminates something new. A government that works, a bureaucracy that serves, a system that delivers. The revolution isn't just beginning, it's already won.
Are you ready for the revolution, folks? I am so ready. That was an excellent video, I must say. Give me a thumbs up if you think so as well. And a couple more little things I want to bring y'all real short. We're going to do a quick one today. I got about 27 articles I want to bring y'all on 3 or 4 things off Twitter, but we'll do that later in the day or first thing in the morning. Trump says on Truth Social, our country is coming back faster than anyone thought possible. We are respected all over the world like never before. Enjoy. And for those that don't know, yesterday a Japanese, uh, one of the top guys in Japan, just pledged $1 trillion investment in the United States. We thought the other guy, I think, was from one of the Oriental countries over there. I don't know which one. I can't say. But last week, 2 weeks ago, a guy pledged a $500 million to the United States, or no, $500 billion to the United States less than a month ago, and now we've got somebody pledging $1 trillion. Means investors are coming here, not little investors, but big investors, which are going to bring lots of jobs to the country. And Trump is right; we are coming up in every way. We're not only going to root out the rot, fix our economy, bring jobs to this country, kick out the illegals. We are going to do so many things that are just going to be slid through the cracks because so much is happening at one time. But we're going to start seeing it. We're going to start seeing the potholes being filled in, and the things that the government was supposed to help the people with, do their job about, like arrest criminals. That's coming back too, folks. I can't wait. Prosecution will probably be one of the last things to actually hit the real agenda list as far as Trump's first orders, first 100 days, maybe. I don't know, but 2, 3 weeks in, I'm so impressed. I cannot say that enough. Like, subscribe, and share. Devoted Patriots. Everybody have a great day. Oh, before I forget, I had one of my listeners send me the proceeds to buy me another hat that I can wear to work. It's going to be great, folks. Thank you, Miss June. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Hats off to you. I didn't know if you wanted me to put it out there, but thank you so much just for being such a great listener. And that's not just to her, that's to everybody that's ever uh, showed up, listened to listened to my channel, put in a comment, supported my channel, donated to my channel or any of the causes that I get into, including feeding the homeless. I do appreciate each and every one of you. And I just want to say that before I jump out of here today.